7 words. Just 7 words that sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling universe. CM Punk standing in that ring, staring down Roman Reigns and saying the unthinkable, "I'm going to bury you next to your father." The arena went silent. The internet exploded. And somewhere backstage, Seth Rollins heard those words too. What happened next? You're not gonna believe this. You know, there are moments in wrestling that transcend the business. Moments that remind us that behind the characters, behind the storylines, there are real human beings with real emotions, real pain, real families. And what CM Punk said to Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw wasn't just a promo. It was a line crossed, a boundary shattered. And it sent ripples through everyone who's ever stepped into that ring with these two men. But here's what nobody's talking about. While the world was losing their minds over Punk's words, while fans were debating whether he went too far, there was one man watching who knows both of these warriors better than almost anyone. Seth Rollins. The architect. The man who shared a locker room with Roman Reigns as brothers in the Shield. The man who battled CM Punk through some of the most brutal rivalries in recent memory. And what Seth had to say is going to change everything. Before we dive into this absolute chaos, I need you to do something for me. If you're watching this video right now and you love wrestling as much as I do, if you want to be part of a community that breaks down every moment, every twist, every emotion in this incredible sport we love, hit that subscribe button. Tap that notification bell. Because what's coming in the next few weeks leading to WrestleMania is going to be absolutely insane, and I don't want you to miss a single second of it. We're building something special here, and I want you to be part of this family. Now let's get into what really happened. Let me take you back to that moment on Raw. Indianapolis, the city where legends were made. Roman Reigns walked to that ring like he owned the place, demanding the crowd acknowledge him, just like he's done for years. But CM Punk wasn't having any of it. Punk came out and immediately went for the throat, reminding everyone that Indianapolis is where he brought the Shield to WWE. Think about that for a second. The Shield. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Jon Moxley. 3 men who changed the landscape of professional wrestling forever. But Roman fired back, saying Punk brought the other 2, not him. The disrespect. The ego. You could feel the temperature rising in that building. Punk didn't back down. He told Reigns that his entire career has been chasing Punk, living in his shadow, and that Reigns saying he hates him means Punk has already won because he's inside Reigns' head. The verbal warfare was intense. Roman tried to hurt Punk, calling him by his real name, saying he was just there to entertain angry fans living with their parents, that Punk was secretly miserable every day despite pretending to love being on the road. Brutal words. Personal attacks. This wasn't your typical WrestleMania build. This was 2 men genuinely trying to destroy each other psychologically. And then Punk went nuclear. He reminded Roman that he's alone now. No Paul Heyman. No bloodline. No cousins. Reigns has never accomplished anything on his own. You could see it in Roman's eyes. That struck a nerve. Because it's true, isn't it? For all of Roman's dominance, he's always had someone by his side. And now, he's standing there, isolated, facing a man who thrives in chaos. But nothing prepared us for what came next. CM Punk looked Roman dead in the eyes and said, "You went from getting beat at WrestleMania, now I'm going to bury you. And then you won't be all alone anymore because I'm going to bury you next to your father." The world stopped. Roman Reigns' father, Sika Inoue, passed away in June. A Hall of Famer. A legend. One half of the Wild Samoans. The man who built the foundation for one of wrestling's greatest families. And CM Punk just invoked his name, his memory, his death in front of millions of people. You can debate all day whether it was too far, whether it crossed the line, but one thing is undeniable. It was real. It hurt. And it made this WrestleMania match feel more dangerous than anything we've seen in years. Reports came out that Roman Reigns wasn't happy after the show went off the air. Can you blame him? This man lost his father less than 2 years ago. The grief is still fresh. The pain is still raw. And now it's being weaponized for ratings, for storylines, for WrestleMania. Wrestling is brutal, but this felt different. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part that's got me absolutely fired up. Seth Rollins. The man caught in the middle of all this madness. After being gone for 4.5 months recovering from injury, Seth returned at Elimination Chamber with one mission: destruction. He outsmarted Logan Paul and Austin Theory, leaving Paul Heyman alone in the ring, then delivered a chair shot to Heyman's back in the same spot where Roman Reigns was betrayed over a decade ago, before stomping Heyman's face into the mat so hard it looked like his face broke. Symbolic. Brutal. Perfect. But what happened after Punk's comments about Roman's father? That's where Seth's true character showed through. See, Seth Rollins has every reason to hate both of these men. CM Punk walked out in 2014, and Seth publicly called him a cancer, saying Punk tried to destroy the business because of his beef with the company. Even now, Seth admits it's difficult to watch Punk be back. The resentment runs deep. And Roman? Seth and Roman debuted together in The Shield in 2012, making Seth's shocking chair attack in 2014 a moment that reshaped both of their careers. They were brothers. They bled together. They conquered together. And Seth turned on him in one of the most shocking betrayals in wrestling history. The emotional scars from that still linger to this day. So when Seth appeared on Good Morning Football just days after this whole situation exploded, people expected him to tear into both of them, to add fuel to the fire, to make it worse. Instead, he showed us something completely different. When the co-hosts wore masks of CM Punk and Roman Reigns, Seth responded by saying it's not about them anymore, that they had their time, and now it's Seth Rollins' time because they're fighting over his title. But listen to what he didn't say. He didn't mock Roman's pain. He didn't bring up the father comment. He didn't pile on when it would have been so easy to do it. Because despite everything, despite the betrayals and the battles and the bad blood, Seth Rollins understands something that CM Punk seems to have forgotten. There are lines you don't cross. There are wounds you don't reopen. There's a difference between being a villain and being cruel. I want you to think about this for a second. Last year at Wrestlemania, Seth Rollins pinned Roman Reigns in a triple threat match that also included CM Punk. Seth stood tall over both of them. He proved he was the best. But he never once used Roman's family, his grief, his personal pain as a weapon. He didn't need to. He was better than that. And here's what's so beautiful about this whole situation. Seth could have stayed silent. He could have let Punk and Roman destroy each other while he waited in the shadows, ready to pick up the pieces. But that's not who Seth Rollins is. When asked about Roman's recent comments claiming WWE has struggled creatively without him, Seth just laughed it off, calling it absurd and ridiculous. His wife Becky Lynch even weighed in, pointing out how many people it took to make Roman interesting. But there's a difference between competitive trash talk and what CM Punk did. Seth gets it. He understands the line. And by not piling on, by redirecting the conversation back to himself and his championship aspirations, Seth sent a message that was louder than any words. He showed that you can be fierce, you can be competitive, you can want to destroy your opponents in that ring, but you don't have to destroy their humanity to do it. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This is wrestling. Everything goes. Punk was just cutting a great heel promo. And look, I get it. I understand that wrestling is supposed to push boundaries. But let me ask you something. When you watched that segment, did it feel like entertainment? Or did it feel like you were watching something genuinely uncomfortable? Wrestling analysts have pointed out that WWE rarely lets promos get that personal, that raw, and the fact that this one aired unfiltered tells you everything about how seriously WWE is treating this rivalry. If you're still watching, if you're feeling this same energy I'm feeling right now, I need you to do me a favor. Smash that like button. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Did CM Punk go too far? Is this the kind of storytelling you want to see heading into WrestleMania? And make sure you're subscribed because we're going to be breaking down every single moment of this insane road to WrestleMania. We're a family here and I want to hear your voices in this conversation. Here's what makes this whole situation even more complex. This is the second year in a row that Reigns and Punk will meet at WrestleMania. Last year they were in that triple threat with Seth Rollins. But this time it's one-on-one. The winner will claim the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk is already in his second reign, while Reigns hasn't held it yet. The stakes have never been higher. And now, with this father comment hanging over everything, this match has transformed from a championship bout into something personal, something dangerous, something that feels like it could genuinely explode at any moment. And Seth Rollins? He's watching all of this unfold. He's vowed vengeance against those who sidelined him and anyone who dares to challenge his standing. He's not medically cleared yet, but you better believe he's coming. And when he does, when Seth Rollins is finally unleashed back into that championship picture, the landscape is going to shift in ways we can't even imagine. Think about the psychology of this whole situation. Roman Reigns is fighting for his legacy, fighting to prove he can win the World Heavyweight Championship that has eluded him, fighting with the memory of his father pushing him forward. CM Punk is fighting to cement himself as the best in the world, to prove that his return wasn't just a nostalgia act but a genuine reclaiming of his throne at the top of this business. And Seth Rollins is fighting for redemption, for respect, for the recognition that while those two were gone or part-time, he was here every single week, carrying this company on his back. Seth talked about returning to that crowd, about the challenge of standing still and soaking in the energy after hitting that massive stomp on Paul Heyman. He compared it to an athlete making a huge defensive play and wanting to celebrate but having to maintain composure. That's the discipline. That's the professionalism. That's the difference between Seth Rollins and what we saw from CM Punk on Raw. You want to know what a real message looks like? It's not invoking someone's dead father. It's showing up every single week. It's putting your body on the line. It's respecting your opponents enough to beat them at their best, not to tear them down at their worst. Seth Rollins has been sending that message his entire career. He turned on the Shield, sure, but he did it because he wanted to prove he was better. He battled CM Punk and called him out for abandoning the company, but he did it because he believed in the business they all claimed to love. And now, as we head toward WrestleMania, as this situation continues to escalate and intensify, Seth Rollins stands as the conscience of this whole mess. He's the reminder that you can be ruthless without being heartless. You can be ambitious without being cruel. You can want to destroy your opponents in that squared circle without destroying the respect that should exist between warriors. Here's what's going to happen. WWE seems determined to keep Punk and Reigns from getting physical until the WrestleMania main event. The tension is going to build. More words will be exchanged. More lines might be crossed. But through it all, Seth Rollins is going to be lurking, waiting, preparing for his moment. And when that moment comes, when he's finally cleared to compete again, the entire landscape is going to shift. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. While CM Punk and Roman Reigns are busy tearing each other apart, while they're digging into personal trauma and family tragedy to get an edge, Seth Rollins is focused on what really matters. Being the absolute best wrestler in the world. Proving it every single night. Earning respect through excellence, not through emotional manipulation. The heartfelt message Seth sent wasn't in words. It was in his actions. It was in his restraint. It was in showing the world that even in a business built on drama and conflict, there's still room for dignity. There's still room for class. There's still room for being better than your worst impulses. As we close out, I want you to remember this moment. Remember watching CM Punk cross that line. Remember the look on Roman Reigns' face. Remember the silence that followed those 7 words. And remember that Seth Rollins, the man who has every reason to pile on, who has every reason to make this worse, chose a different path. He chose to be better. And that's the kind of champion, the kind of wrestler, the kind of man that this business desperately needs. We're 7 weeks away from WrestleMania. 7 weeks of build. 7 weeks of promos. 7 weeks of anticipation. And somewhere in all of that, Seth Rollins is going to make his move. Trust me when I tell you, you don't want to miss what's coming. Before I let you go, I need one more thing from you. If this video meant something to you, if you felt the emotion and the intensity of what we just broke down together, share this video. Send it to your wrestling friends. Get them subscribed. We're building something incredible here, a community of passionate fans who love this business as much as I do. Hit that like button, smash that notification bell, and join the family. Comment below with your thoughts because I read every single one and I want to know what you're thinking. The road to WrestleMania has never been more unpredictable. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins lurking in the shadows, ready to strike. And a comment about a father that changed everything. This is where legends are made. This is where careers are defined. This is professional wrestling at its most raw, most real, most intense. And we're going to be here every step of the way, breaking it all down, analyzing every moment, feeling every emotion together. Because that's what this family is all about. Welcome to the most exciting time in wrestling. Welcome to the road to WrestleMania. I'll see you in the next one.